we lived in New York City at that particular time after I came out of the Army and I finished school. And we got here, and it was not an easy task. But this place, this building, really helped us to put our roots into this community, the temple. We got active here. We got people that we met that we never would have met any other way. The welcome, the warmth, the understanding of us coming from the East was really astounding. And the most important part was the assumption of responsibility as good Jewish citizens. This is something I never had experienced. This was an opportunity that really kind of formed our family. We were very, very fortunate to have 4 children. We were very unfortunate that we lost one of our sons when he was 35 years old. But one of our grandsons is here, Andrew, who grew up here, who's a journalist in New York City on politics and well known now. And his lovely wife, who also is a journalist, and she is what runs a
food writer.
Food. And the biggest what is every morning when you pick up a newspaper, free newspaper in a subway, her article would be in there. Is that correct? Yes, we have it. Okay? And my excuse me. Is that me? Also, my cousin is here, the one with the gray hair. And Ray, the blonde, or anyways, she lives in New York City and came to visit us. And of course, my daughter Susie and her husband sitting behind her, straight up. Yes. And also my other daughter Randy and my wife Mickey, who's actually to go back to the Iowa Jewish Home.
Your son,
So here's my
you have a son.
and my son Steve, yes, who lives in California.
What's his name?
Also So as you look at my family, it's, I think, the proof about America. To come here penniless in March of 1930, no, excuse me, that's when Hitler came into Austria. In 1939, in December, when we got my dad out of Dachau and got permission, or our visa came to come to the United States. I must tell you, I think we were one of the very few people who were lucky enough to be unharmed, my family, to escape from Austria. You heard this little anecdote that I was so fortunate to join the American Army in 1943, and I landed up in North Africa, then in Italy, and then was with a very small group under General Mark Clark, became USFA, U.S. Forces in Austria, and I was the first American GI that went to my old neighborhood. I've told this story several times, but I see faces here that may not have heard it. I sat in my Jeep with my driver, and I came up through the Brenner Pass in Tyrol from northern Italy on to Vienna, and I had papers which allowed me then to confiscate some hotel rooms in one of the better hotels in Vienna. And I told my drivers before, it was at that time occupied by the Russians, that let's stop by a neighborhood in which I had lived for 13 years. We turned around and went to the 20th district in Austria, in Vienna, called Brigittenau, and to my old neighborhood. As we drove down on the street, it was a very quiet street because it had been shelled. And some of the buildings across the street from where we lived had big holes in it. We didn't see one soul on that street. As we sat there and took our helmets off, and I looked around and explained to my driver that this building across the street here, that's the 3rd floor, is where our apartment was. And he looked, nodded his head, and a woman came out of that building carrying a pail. There was a fire hydrant where we had parked our car, our Jeep. And she kept her head down because she couldn't know who we because that part of Vienna was occupied by the Russian troops before we got there. So, excuse me, as she turned around, and I had a lot of curly hair in those days, which somehow, because of all the problems I've had, has now straightened itself out. My hair. And as she lifted her head and looked at me, she started screaming my name. Oh, Fritz, 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 Fritz. As you can see, I changed my name from Fritz to Fred, as you know, later on. And she screamed my name and dropped a pail on the cobblestones. And all these people came out of these buildings. Yes, started kissing and hugging me. There must have been about 200 people out there. I gave away all my rations. I gave away things that I didn't need. There was a full bottle of cognac I had. Gave that away and told them I'd be back. I never went back. I couldn't wait to go home. I was corresponding with a letter writer who wrote the most beautiful letters. And she signed her name at the bottom of those letters called Mickey.
Mickey.
And I fell in love with those letters. So my at that time, determination was to get home as quickly as possible and really court my wife.
Yes. Mickey.
Yes. And we got married not soon after, and then moved to Des Moines in 1950. So this is my lifetime. To live here in Des Moines, Iowa is an extraordinary privilege to my family and me. I can't imagine any other part of the United States that has that sense of, I would say, neighborhoods, the sense of compassion. There is no prejudice. I've never heard anyone slur a word about Jews. Never, in all the years I've lived here. And the opportunities that we enjoyed to be part of this community. I'm very thankful. I'll be celebrating my 91st birthday, November 23rd, I think it's next week. And I won't be around for much longer. So it's been a great ride. I'm so happy to see you all here, and I'm actually overwhelmed with this party that I didn't plan, I didn't expect, and here I am. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for